Because we don't know.
We call it a bill.
I'll begin with prayer.
Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society, good of all human lives upon it, and the just government of its people, we beseech you to look with your abundant favor upon us, your servants, whom you have entrusted with the performance of such important trust in this community. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our attention and deliberation in so just and faithful manner, as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this region and of those whose interests we have committed to us. Amen.
Item 1 on order paper, communication from the chair.
Good afternoon, honorable members. And I think according to our program, this is supposed to be the last day of plenary. Am I right? Thank you very much. So we are going to have a situation where the members of the council present will leave earlier because they are still working on important issues that concern us. So I agreed with them that they can be here as long as they think they still have time to be here. But when you see them stepping out, that would mean they are going to attend to other important business. And it will be all of them. So it means it will be very difficult to proceed in a manner that would expect the response from the council. So wherever we shall end, we shall carry forward the part of the item that we will not have concluded until we meet another time. I will also, at some point, want to have to join the council. So at that moment in time, I will see how far we have gone, and if we'll still be continuing, then we shall make our usual arrangements under the rules for another member to proceed for the time that I will be leaving the house. So those are the announcements I wanted to make. Otherwise, we proceed.
Proceed to item 2 on order paper, report of the Committee on Regional Affairs and Conflict Resolution and the implementation of EAC Peace and Security Strategy by way of motion. Resumption of business interrupted on 12th October 2021.
Chairperson, Committee on Regional Affairs and Conflict Resolution. I wanted to update you, honorable members, that by the time the debate was interrupted, the chairperson of the committee had started reading the report. So I think where we start is where you ended, chairperson, to proceed reading the report. Am I right? Am I right?
Right, Honorable Speaker, I was about to move a motion to read the report.
So the clerk's record is not. Okay, let us go by your advice. So you can proceed.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the report of the Committee on Regional Affairs and Conflict Resolution on the implementation of EAC Peace and Security Strategy be adopted. I beg to move.
Seconder. Honorable Alak, Honorable Victor, Honorable Gideon, Honorable Moyani, and all members standing. Honorable Chair, you can now proceed to read the report. And if you wish, you can use the podium. Honorable members, do you have the copies of the report? Huh? What is happening? You had them before. So for those who may have forgotten their copies, maybe you can have new copies, but those who kept their copies, please, we don't have to give you another one. Can we know how many don't have the copies? Yes, I think council members can see the amount of paperwork that we use here. And when we come with something to do with the tablets, please support it, because it will save a lot of our resources. Yes. Thank you.
Can I press? Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'll start from page 5 on introduction. Peace and security are prerequisites to social and economic development within the East African community and vital to the realization of objectives of the community. For meaningful development to be realized, partner states agreed to foster and maintain an atmosphere that is conducive to peace and security through cooperation and consultation on issues pertaining to peace and security. In addition, partner states agreed to establish mechanisms of preventing, management, and resolution of disputes and conflicts among themselves. Peace and security are essential ingredients for regional integration. They anchor on all the 4 pillars of the East African integration stages, yet they pose a major challenge in the East African region. For the integration process to be meaningful and fast-moving, EAC recognized that economic, political, and social culture integration to succeed, peace, stability, and security ought to be guaranteed throughout the region. It was therefore imperative that the framers and the revivers of East African community integration undertook to place strong emphasis and importance on addressing both the pull and push factors that are likely to cause violent conflicts in the region, and in the process derail the integration agenda of the EAC. Article 124, Clause 5 of the Treaty for the Establishment of the East African Community obligates partner states to enhance cooperation in handling of cross-border crime, provision of mutual assistance in criminal matters, including the arrest and repatriation of fugitive offenders, and the exchange of information on national mechanisms for combating criminal activities. To this end, the partner states undertook to adopt the following measures for maintaining and promoting security in their territories. Objectives of the oversight activity. The objective of this activity was to carry out an oversight assessment and ascertain how EAC has implemented the peace and security strategy. With regard to methodology, the activity was held for 4 days via team application and was conducted from 25th to the 28th February 2021. Mr. Didas Kaguta, Head of Peace and Security Department, facilitated the activity, which was followed on by an interactive session. The expected output for the activity was to assess the status of implementation of the peace and security strategy. With regard to progress made and challenges faced in the implementation of the regional peace and security strategy, we all recall that Chapter 23 of the treaty establishing the EAC and specifically Article 124 highlights areas for cooperation in peace and security sector. Article 5, 3F provides for fundamental objectives that give a basis for provisions of Article 124, which recognize that peace and security are essential ingredients for regional integration. The committee held deliberations with the Department of Peace and Security, and Mr. Kaguta, as I said, the peace and security expert, informed the committee that the review of the strategy was undertaken along with updating and adoption of a revised implementation plan for regional peace and security strategy. The plan reflected a log frame of implementation by the various subsectors. The strategy was first adopted by the 13th Council of Ministers, meeting held in November 2006, to guide EAC level interventions in the peace and security sector. The strategy was later reviewed under African Peace and Security Architecture, APSA project funding, and updated to 23 goals in 2014. The review incorporated responses to the emerging peace and security challenges or threats that had not been perceived in the region in 2006. The additional goals that were added are from numbers 16 to 23, as highlighted below. 1, enhanced the exchange of criminal intelligence and other security information among partner states, enhanced joint operations and patrols, installation of common communication facilities for border and interstate security, adoption of United Nations model on mutual assistance on criminal matters, implementation of the protocol on combating illicit drug trafficking, undertaking exchange visits, benchmarking by security authorities, undertaking exchange training programs for security personnel, establishing common mechanisms for the management of refugees, establishing regional disaster management mechanisms, formulating security measures to combat terrorism, establishing measures to combat cattle rustling, establishing measures to combat proliferation of small arms and light weapons, developing mechanisms to combat security challenges on the EAC inland waters, developing mechanisms for conflict prevention, management, and resolution, developing mechanisms for early warning system, enhancing cooperation within prisons, correctional services in the region, prevention of genocide, combating and suppressing piracy for maritime safety and security, enhancing measures to detect, prevent, and combat cybercrime, enhancing measures to combat human trafficking, illegal migration and smuggling of migrants in the East African Community region, enhancing cooperation in combating environmental crimes, strengthening cooperation among partner states on anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism initiatives, and finally, preventing, controlling, and eradicating motor vehicle theft in the East African Community partner states. Progress on the implementation of the strategy on regional peace and security. Some of the instruments that were key to the implementation of the strategy and were in line with the directives of the Sectoral Council included the following. 1 was the development and ratification of the Peace and Security Protocol. The objective of the protocol is to promote peace, security, and stability within the community and to promote good neighborliness among partner states. The protocol endeavors to address issues of inter alia conflict prevention, management, and resolution, prevention of genocide, combating terrorism, combating and suppression of piracy, and peace and support operation. The protocol was fully ratified and it came into force on the 18th December 2018, when the last partner state, the Republic of Burundi, ratified it and transmitted the instruments of ratification to the Secretary General. Number 2 is the development of the protocol on the mechanisms of frameworks. The protocol is implemented through the following frameworks or mechanisms, which were developed with support from the African Union, European Union African Project on Security Architecture, funded project. The Conflict Prevention Management and Resolution Mechanism. The objective of this mechanism is to seek and explore avenues through which partner states can resolve any disputes or conflicts within and between 2 or more partner states or with foreign countries by peaceful means. Conflict early warning mechanism. The objective of this mechanism is to facilitate the anticipation and prevention of conflicts in the EAC region through national and regional early warning centers In this pursuit, the early warning system is responsible for data collection, analysis, and formulation of responses, strategies, and options to inform decision-making. Roadmap for operationalization of the EAC early warning mechanism. The roadmap entails establishment of the early warning mechanism to facilitate the anticipation, preparedness, and early response to prevent, contain, and manage conflict and crisis situations in the areas of cooperation. Modality for establishment of the EAC Peace Fund. The EAC Peace Fund model has been envisaged to raise funding of multiple sources of funding from partner states. The facility is open to contributions from similar other organizations and any other sources. It is deemed that the option will give partner states a sense of ownership and show their commitments to interested partners that peace and security is key priority of EAC. Modality for establishment and functioning of the EAC panel of eminent persons. EAC partner states experts adopted a modality for the establishment and functioning of the EAC panel of eminent persons for the purposes of providing EAC with the capacity of conducting preventive diplomacy and peaceful resolution of conflicts in the community. The establishment of EAC panel of eminent persons was consistent with the provisions of the EAC Treaty, Article 6, 123, and Article 124. The strategy for regional peace and security, the protocol on peace and security, conflict prevention, management and resolution mechanism, early warning mechanism, and the draft protocol on good governance. According to the provisions of the modality, the panel is mandated to advise the summit and the council and the Secretary General on all issues pertaining to the promotion and maintenance of peace, security, and stability in the community, including as key elements to the process of EAC political integration. This model has been so far used in spearheading negotiations in the Republic of Burundi that were headed by the late His Excellency Benjamin Mkapa, the former President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Committee observations. The committee observed that despite existence of EAC peace and security architecture, rapid intervention for conflict prevention, management, and peaceful resolution of conflicts in the community was still lacking. EAC panel of eminent persons, that is a commendable initiative, is still operating on an ad hoc basis. Committee recommendations. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to strengthen the operationalization of existing governance, peace, and security mechanisms in addressing state and interstate conflicts. Council should also recommend to the summit a proposal of creating a permanent EAC panel of eminent persons to facilitate conflicts mediation and prevent escalation of conflicts in the region. The EAC draft transboundary security framework. The development of the current draft transboundary framework started way back in 2018. In 2019, consultations to gather information from stakeholders started, facilitated by consultants, but was halted early 2020 due to the coronavirus pandemic. The draft framework is expected to be finalized in 2021. It focuses on utilizing the transboundary communities to supplement and augment the government's national efforts in curbing and forestalling cross-border and transnational organized crimes, especially trafficking of persons, arms, and narcotic drugs. The EAC protocol on illicit drug trafficking. The strategy for implementing this protocol was developed by EAC and is in operation. Contained therein, in these protocols, are a number of interventions aimed at combating the illicit drug trafficking. They include interventions that are being done through joint meetings of directors of Central Intelligence Departments in conjunction with the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol Regional Bureau, based in Nairobi, which are convened by EAC biannually on a rotational basis. In addition, a number of joint skills training involving police investigators, immigration and customs, supported by the African Peace Security Architecture Project on Detection and Investigation of Narcotic Drugs Trafficking, have been done by EAC in conjunction with the International Criminal Police Organization, International Criminal Police Organizational Regional Bureau. The Council directed the review and development of stringent specific laws on narcotic trafficking, while calling for harmonization of laws to streamline operations, investigations, and eventual prosecution of criminals. All partner states have developed and harmonized specific laws aimed at creating institutional, multi-sectoral, and multidisciplinary structures in combating illicit drug trafficking in partner states. Specific training of frontline officers has also been undertaken in partner states to combat illicit drug trafficking. Implementation of the strategic goals, programs, and activities. In order to ensure that the specific goals of the regional strategy are implemented, EAC developed key programs and activities, and they include the following: small arms and light weapons control. This has been achieved with the funding of Germany Technical Cooperation, GIZ, and European Union. Then capacity development and training of national coordination entities, referred to as national focal points. They have also carried out procurement of specialized arms marking equipment. This included 12 equipment, which were procured for the partner states to facilitate implementation of the UN tracing instrument, to facilitate the activity. 5 vehicles, 1 per partner state, were procured to facilitate mobile marking. This was done to comply with the Council deadline of completion of the exercise by December 2011. Arms collection and destruction. By 2011, EAC had registered over 170,000 small arms and light weapons and 300 tons of explosive remnants of war, including ammunitions, which were destroyed in the region. Stockpile management, record keeping equipment, and training was conducted in the respective partner states to enhance record keeping practices through coding and marking all weapons, hence better accounting for all state-owned and licensed arms. Through support to civil society, a number of awareness creation activities, as well as those that empower women to engage in decision-making processes relating to arms control, were undertaken, with the major focus on women as victims. These awareness activities were carried out by the East African Institute of Security Studies in the EAC partner states, addressing security challenges in inland water bodies. In collaboration with the Sectoral Council on Lake Victoria, a forum was established to address security challenges facing all inland water bodies, such as robbery on waters and piracy. This forum is active and works in conjunction with Lake Victoria Basin Commission. Harmonization of police standard operating procedures. The expert group was established by the EAS Sectoral Council on Interstate Security to commence work on harmonization of police standing operating procedures as part of the process of standardizing and professionalizing policing practices in the region in 2011. Since then, the experts teams have been meeting in different partner states, and the following publications were completed and are being used in all partner states. One, there is use of force handbook, stop, search, arrest and detention procedures. There is also public order management procedure, family protection and gender-based violence procedure, human trafficking, illegal migration and smuggling of migrants procedure, cybercrime investigations and social media procedure, and the police training manual and handbook on EAS integration procedure. Cooperation in prisons and correctional services. In this area, an action plan for cooperation in prisons or correctional services was launched and is being implemented. One of the key components of this action plan was to undertake various benchmark exchange visits on the best practices across the correctional facilities in all partner states. A number of benchmark visits and exchange visits were undertaken in the 5 EAC partner states by the chiefs of prisons and their technical staff. Through these benchmarks, the chiefs and technical staff have had an on-spot inspection of the prisons and other correctional services. In addition, during these visits, issues of standards and shared information on good practices, initiatives and innovations are discussed and shared. The correctional technical staff have been seconded to the Mauritius Correctional Center of Excellence for the Indian Ocean Commission and the Southern African countries for a period of 1 month. In addition, EAC also facilitated and seconded to this center technical staff drawn from each partner states. The chiefs of prisons and correctional services have also visited the center under EAC support and shared experiences with their counterparts on the current and future engagements. The EAC, in partnership with Rwanda Peace Academy, has developed a training curriculum for all the EAC prisons academies on prisons and corrections participation in peace support operations. Cooperation in disaster risk reduction and disaster management. The East African region is prone to natural hazards such as floods, droughts, earthquakes, landslides, strong winds, lightning, and their secondary impacts of disease and epidemics. The region is also equally prone to man-made disasters such as urban fires and water pollution. In order to mitigate the above risks, EAC developed disaster risk reduction and disaster management strategy. Disaster risk reduction includes all the policies, strategies, and measures that can make people, cities, and countries more resilient to hazards and reduce risk and vulnerability to disasters. The EAC Disaster Risk Reduction and Disaster Management Bill 2013 was developed to provide a legal framework and mechanisms for intervention and assistance for people affected by climate change and natural-related hazards, and to protect the natural environment through integration of comprehensive disaster risk reduction and management practices in the EAC. Despite the delay of the bill, activities in this area continue to be implemented based on the strategy on regional peace and security. The committee was further informed that so far there is ongoing development of multi-sectoral exercise codenamed Kabili Maafa, spearheaded by the EAC Police Corporation, whose implementation has been affected by limited funding, especially from partner states, since it falls in the area that has been minimally funded by EAC development partners. In addition to the above, this area also forms one of the EAC policing centers of excellence. The Republic of Burundi hosts this center and is required to spearhead research, expertise training, standardization, certification, and accreditation processes towards the center. Furthermore, the technical officers in this area continue to meet biannually at EAC to chart out a way forward. Counterterrorism. One of the most crucial and pertinent aspects of this strategy is the issue of counterterrorism. The committee observed that in the recent past, the EAC region has seen the most heinous terrorist-related attacks in sub-Saharan Africa. Yet all the endeavors taken by the East African community, in particular to counter terrorism threats, seem not to be yielding meaningful results. Recent terrorist attacks in Kenya provide proof about the apparent vulnerability of the EAC region to increasing terrorist-related activities and the weak capacities of partner states to respond. To ameliorate the above, the head of national joint coordination agencies and entities meet occasionally to deliberate on salient implementation challenges of the subsectoral implementation plan of the strategy. The APSA support project, the Regional Conflict Prevention, Management and Resolution project, along with Maritime Security Program, have also facilitated a number of interventions in this area. Through the EAC umbrella of coordination, information on real terrorist sympathizers, terrorist financing with the terrorist modus operandi in the region and neighborhoods have been shared. The National Counterterrorism Center in Nairobi and the Police Counterterrorism Center of Excellence in Nairobi are doing a commendable job in the region. A number of EAC counterterrorism experts are either seconded at the center or regularly share information with the centers. In addition, the EAC has developed an action-based sub-strategy towards countering radical extremism among the youth and fundamentalism. This will be enhanced further through the work of the Interreligious Council of East Africa, who will proactively work to demystify the fundamental narratives. They are being supported by the EAC youth leaders and university ambassadors. Furthermore, a number of structured trainings of investigations in this field have been undertaken and supported through the EAC. Furthermore, mock field-based exercises on response to terror attacks, hostage rescue, and negotiation skills have been undertaken in support to partner states in conjunction with Interpol and a number of development partners. Piracy and maritime security. Maritime insecurity remains a major challenge in the Western Indian Ocean. The region continues to suffer from a wide range of myriad issues taking place off the coast of Somalia that is not only piracy, but illegal fishing, arms and human trafficking, which continue to challenge the region. In order to ameliorate that, EAC has been jointly implementing an interreg project with EAC, IGAD, IOC, and COMESA. The project is called Maritime Security, acronym MASE project, under the European Union funding. Although piracy has significantly reduced on Indian Ocean through this project, a number of activities have been initiated and include the following: joint training of investigators, prosecutors, and judiciary in prosecution of pirates and other crimes linked to maritime domain. Training of investigators, 150 investigative officers were trained between 2018 and 2019. These were trained in conjunction with Interpol, Lyon, France. Trainings were of 3 categories, namely general investigations, forensic investigations, and criminal analysis. training of forensic investigators from partner states in Brindisi, Italy, and in Turkey on critical ballistics investigation. Secondment and attachment of forensic experts to the Mauritius Center of Excellence in Forensics. Benchmark of EAC experts in prisons and correctional services, prisons and correctional chiefs, plus secondment and attachment of prisons and correctional experts to the Mauritius Prisons and Prison Center of Excellence. The committee observed that although the vice has largely reduced, it is important to keep the waters off the Western Indian Ocean safe. The threat of increased piracy in the region affects and disrupts trade.
Sorry, Chair, for the interruption. Honorable members, as I told you earlier, I have to try and catch up with the council. We have some issues to discuss, some of which are very important for our next activity. So if for our next prospective activity. So if I miss them, it will be a problem. Therefore, I wish to suspend for a few minutes for you to make arrangements for another member to preside over the rest of the plenary. So I suspend for 5 minutes.
Honorable members, resumption of business.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So despite my previous announcement, let us see how we can conclude in a more convenient way. So unfortunately, Chair, you will not be able to conclude the reading of the report, but the members can carry the reports with them and read the reports. And when you come here next time and you conclude the reading, they will have had a better understanding of the report. And because during this plenary, although we didn't, for circumstances that you all observed, we didn't have much business on the floor. But I think so many papers were read, so much work was done in the committees. So even those reports that are not yet on the floor of the House, it is harmless if members can start reading and understanding them. And for those that were read, please take time and read, so that when we meet here for the next plenary, we should be well prepared to catch up with the time and work we lost. Is that agreeable? So on that note then, except for members of the commission who are going to be here tomorrow, I wish you all the best when you travel back. The next activity will depend on what transpires in the discussion with the council. And that is the interparliamentary games, which we are negotiating. If we are, you will get to know about the progress, and all of you have something to do about it, because for us to succeed, to get what we need for that activity to take place, will require the support of the council, and it will require the support of our colleagues in the national parliaments, who are also partners in that activity. So you all have something to do about it by engaging with all of them. So on that note, I adjourn the House sine die.